Welcome to the aquatic side of Janae's House of Beauty, where I get to feature some of my aquariums in the fish hobby. So, if you want to see what I'm personally doing with my hobby, just stay tuned right here in this video coming up next. Okay, so this is my original tank that I've had before. I'm quite sure you've seen it in some of my previous videos. I've changed fish around. I've had a couple beta in this tank, and I messed around. I ended up and bought some angelfish because I thought they were really pretty. I bought them, and the seller looked at me and was like, "You know, you're going to need a bigger tank, right?" So I'm like, "Yeah." I get these things home. They're starting to get bigger. They're getting more aggressive because of the size tank it is. So eventually I ended up getting a really good deal eventually on a 55-gallon tank. It was used. I bought it from a seller off of Facebook. I also ended up getting a stand that was used, which is very nice. It has a lot more space on the inside of it. I can do so much more with filtration and sizing, and that way my fish won't be as cramped as they were in my previous 10-gallon tank, and they can grow out here. There was just a couple minor issues that I would have to fix, such as probably touch up with paint here and there, and the lid of the aquarium where I would hold my top was broke, but that was all easily fixable. Now, originally when I purchased it, I asked the seller if he had any prior leaks. As I inspected, I seen in the corners of the bottom of the tank where it started to lift, and I decided to reseal and recock the entire tank just in case I had any sudden leaks in the middle of my living room with this huge 55-gallon tank. I definitely wouldn't want anything like that, so I'm going to make sure it is completely sealed. Okay, so basically I had two tools, which was the scraper and the razor blade. I ended up having to go with the razor blade because the scraper wasn't doing the job correctly. So I ended up going with a pack of razor blades that I would get from my nearest dollar store, and scraping just the seal from along the sides of the aquarium, making sure not to go too deep into the silicone and split the two tempered glass from each other. And once I have removed all the silicone from around the inside of the tank edges, it should be nice and smooth. I decided to go with the natural product to clean out my aquarium with the extra silicone, which was the white vinegar. Okay, so now here comes the tricky part. I have to take some white electrical tape, go all along the inside of the aquarium and line it to make sure that when I caulk it with the silicone, it doesn't go all over the place. And once I was finished laying the tape around the perimeter, I was ready to add my fresh layer of silicone. Okay, so I ended up going to PetSmart and picking up some aquarium safe sealant from Marineland. I used this to recaulk the entire inside of my tank. Just so happened the two tubings that I had were enough. I didn't need a tubing gun or none of that. It was my first time, and it turned out to be just enough. If you want to know more about this technique, I suggest you follow DIY Joey Aquarium. He's kind of one of the guys that I follow and learn all this from. And I'll try to leave a link of that video down in the description box of this one. And I let that cure for about a week before I decided to go any further. I actually need my tank to be at a certain temperature, which is 82 degrees. Going to do a little bit more research on this, and I'll probably put some of that in the description earlier in the video. I also ended up getting some wood for the tank from one of my kind of local pet shops. This is my first time going with wood for decoration, but I was advised to go with something that softens the water instead of something that hardens. The type of fish that I'm going to get into, which I'm not going to tell just yet, needs a softer tone of water for it to thrive. I completely switched over from the hang on the back filter, and I decided to go with a Fluval canister filter. I've been doing a lot of research, and I can't believe I spent so much money on this product, but in the long run, I think it'll be a lot healthier for my fish, just in case I end up being too busy and I can't do the frequent water changes. I need a filter that is going to be my backup. So I picked this Fluval up, 407. Best way to keep the best water quality besides water changing is having an excellent filter system. So I've been advised that maybe I should double up on my gallons when it comes to my filter. This Fluval it's 23 watts, which means that it'll be pretty good on my electric bill. Okay, so now that the tank has fully been cleaned out and dried, I am going to get a feel for where I want to put the wood pieces in my tank. I already have a visual of kind of what I wanted in my tank, having a larger, fully planted tank. So I'm just kind of fitting the pieces to see where it will look nice here. And as you can see here, I'm just cleaning up the area from fixing the top lid part, which was broken. I had a little bit of aquarium glue to get onto the glass of the aquarium, and I'm just going to clean that up very nicely. Okay, now here comes the fun part. I get to use this black sand, fluoride black sand, for the first time. I was using a granite sand for like a planted tank before. It's in my tank now, what I currently have. But I got 2 bags of this, and I'm just going to even out my substrate and kind of lay this straight as I'm layering it. Now I'm ready to add the wood and start filling up the tank. And once I got about halfway mark with filling up the aquarium, I decided that it was time for me to hook up my filtration system. I finally got a chance to go through it and see all the extra filtration that it had in the system. And It was a pretty easy connect. I can say that it wasn't hard to set up at all. It was really simple instructions. But one thing that was very important though with the brand new filtration system is that I had to take all of the filtration and filter media and run it underwater and run it clean, because it was my first time using it and you wanted to kind of get rid of the debris. So I just want to say that part is very important. So this is my outtake. And I chose to put my intake on the opposite side. Please hit like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see part 2 coming up next for when I add the fish to the tank.